We'll see now how Solary does against this team of up-and-comers, RIX GG.
And apparently Jack, he wasn't the only one to make waves in the Fusion tournament. His teammate Dead Monster as well. And they had linked up on the 2v2 portion of that tournament, and they played very well. The synergy is pretty obvious between not just Dead Monster and apparently Jack, but Polar, you know, he slots in as a really good third man for this team. And when they start to find their rhythm in a match, you can see why the hype is around this team, especially when Polar hits those wide angle shots.
Polar chilling out on the corner. He had 0 boost on this play. Wow. Hits a dime, threads that needle. Oh, Carrion wasn't expecting that to come at him. A 0 boost play, so good from Polar.
Seeing in the last match, players just waiting downfield, not even jumping off the back wall or the corner, but they're just sitting there for 3 or 4 seconds, and the defense completely forgets about them after a while. Oh, almost snuck that goal in, but Solary are going to be forced into a quick retreat. Polar takes the pass from apparently Jack. And this is a good start for Dead Monster and company. They get 2 now up against Solary.
Exotic decided to go up on the backboard. He turned the opposite direction. He was playing a 50 in the corner, expecting his teammate to win. And when it kicked out to the middle, caught completely out of position. If he was in net, maybe he saves that. That decision to go on the wall costing him. Diving for a play that he was expecting to go center, went back to the corner. Solary were forced to just wait for these rebounds to come back down to earth, but apparently Jack is in the air. Oh, and he had the flip reset, doesn't matter. Dead Monster will collect, and that is 2 for the Monster. We're barely past the minute mark. Already 3 goals off a brilliant 50 from Dead Monster on the goal line, flipping to the side, staying behind the ball, forcing it to bounce through.
Not the start that Solary might have been expecting, but I'm sure that they've played these players before, and I'm sure they know what they can bring to the table. But to start out so emphatically, 3-0, certainly making a statement.
A statement and a big old hole to try to dig themselves out of. Polar, can he do it again from the corner? Hit the crossbar there. And we're seeing so much aggression, Jorby. Polar has been downfield a couple times, hanging out in the corners, looking for passes. Apparently, Jack, we even saw him go for a flick pass in the middle to Polar. So the team play is there, the synergy's there, shooting accuracy looking good. Offensively, this is a good game from RIX GG, and I expect to see more of that.
And Solary, a lot of these chances that they've tried to generate, they're usually diving as the first man, feeling the pressure. But this time, Yukis sneaks this into the top off of Carrion's pass.
Carrion, well positioned. You saw him using up his boost. He knew he wasn't going to get a very good hit on the ball, so what does he do? You just shadow it and hope for a good 50. Player's so good at getting to the ball, hovering just above it, forcing those 50s to go in their favor. And that was a textbook example.
I want that to be a title in game. Hope for a good 50. I feel like that's half of my games. But Carrion, he'll pick up a second. And all of a sudden, where you thought, the emphatic start is great, but if you can't keep it going, Solary are going to sneak back in.
Yeah, that was just a fantastic challenge by Carrion, actually, I believe it was. Carrion getting up, or Yukis rather, Yukis getting up there, getting in front of the ball, forcing that 50 to kick out. Ooh. And that's all it takes. A couple of good challenges, and that has brought Solary right back into the game.
And that was, even right there, it was a good challenge from Carrion, but the rest of Solary had to retreat, and Exotic just dumped that in front. He actually gets the bump on Polar, and it killed any power he was going to get on that touch. The Solary starting to find their way in this game. But Polar and company, they've still been a difficult number to get by. See if Carrion can start another good push, but they're forcing Yukis up. Apparently Jack next up on the challenge, and that's going to break for Polar. He's going to keep it low, actually going to flip it right in front of Carrion. So Solary get out of that play, but they couldn't grab the ball in midfield. And those struggles continue for Solary. The midfield game just has been non-existent.
Yeah, they've
taking advantage of those quality challenges. That's really the only highlight that they've had. You wonder if Solary is going to start figuring some things out, or if they're going to keep going with these scrappy goals.
Oh, trying to go for the bump. That was Yukis to give Exotic a clear lane on the net. Well, Carrion, he got a decent pop. It sent the rest of RIX GG up, and they almost snuck it through. Exotic shot wasn't good. Polar came up with the next save. Dumping through is Carrion. Yukis, never mind. Wow. Solary coming back 3 goals down to tie it up.
And it all started with that play, you know, having the attacker fly up, make the defense think you're taking a shot, and then you leave it for your teammate to get a better shot. And that kept the pressure going. So we wanted to see more creativity out of Solary, and we got it.
A lot of great 50s, especially from Carrion. Yukis, what a pass. Oh. If Exotic, he was able to steal the ball away completely. Polar's still chasing this down. But he did get it out to apparently Jack, who almost found Polar. But apparently Jack will steal that boost away and make life a little more difficult for Solary to get out. More pressure towards the net. And they're all forced to rotate one at a time in net. Now they find Exotic downfield. Did they catch everybody out? Yes, they did, and it goes in. Apparently, Jack's desperate, but Solary are spamming. Great pass.
100% calculated. Goes up for the backboard read. It still goes in. Jack, he grazed the ball, you know, calculated. That's all you can say.
Carrion opened his book and said, I know exactly what's going to happen about 4 moves from now. I'm jumping. Apparently Jack's like, yeah, dude, I got you. Not how you want to draw it up.
It was such a hard hit, though, Jorby.
Yeah.
It was such a hard hit that you can understand why that mistake was made, why Jack didn't get as much of a touch as he had hoped for. He didn't have much boost on that play either. Now catching this ball, Polar leading the way, going for a bump, but it was dodged and easily saved by Yukis. That was a big play from Yukis as well. Could have been the tying opportunity for RIX GG.
Ooh. Another good challenge, too, to keep them locked in the blue half. They had a couple of demos, but Polar picks up a lead demo. Now Dead Monster and apparently Jack will sit and watch the ball go into the net for a tie game. A simple flick obliterates the defense.
And that demo did wonders. Dead Monster had his eyes on Exotic the whole time. He's waiting for him to commit. As soon as he saw Exotic bite, he flicks it right over him, but that demo created the space for that to happen. And we're seeing those 1v1 skills, the 1v1 timing coming to play. Now they might have another chance here, Jorby.
Well, Dead Monster, he was playing with time there to give himself a chance. Let that ball bounce with under a second left, which probably would have been the best opportunity for a goal. They didn't get it, so we're in overtime. But really impressed with how RIX GG have started this match. Solary, as good as they have looked, and with the expectations on this team, it's been a struggle to consistently put it to this RIX GG squad, but they're gonna find a way here. Carrion, he's had a solid game so far. Flipping into the net and resets for game 2.
Oh, that back pass from Yukis, and then the pop from Carrion follows it up with the flip reset. Picture perfect. And
James,
Polar, he wanted to get the block on that, but that chip was right around him. Yukis, though, that back pass as well. So much to love from that play, Jorby.
I absolutely loved watching the Harbinger go up, get the flip reset to score. It's such a big, beautiful beast in the air, James. It's not as good as watching a Merc get a flip reset, but it's probably the next best thing I'm gonna get. Either way, well done by Carrion, and that was just a microcosm, and maybe the one play you point to show he was doing this for the entire 5 minutes in regulation.
Oh yeah, Carrion was amazing. A hat trick for him, 2 assists, 100% goal participation. He was scoring. That last play was just so good. You could see him waiting to air roll until the last second, and that's why it's so important to have that air roll right or left button bound to your controller so you can pull off plays like that. You saw how quickly he was able to get into position for that flip reset. So Carrion showing off the mechanics there in a big spot, and it wasn't even an easy play to pop it around the defender. Polar probably shocked that even made it over his head. So well done by Carrion. He gets his team a win there.
And a stunning start for RIX GG really turned into disaster
You got 3 quick goals, but now you can't keep carrying out of the net. He puts another one in to start game 2.
He's the king. I mean, he's wearing a crown. It's pure gold. Just like these plays that he's been making, carrying, he's unstoppable right now.
Just feeling like he's king of the pitch and showing it too. Exotic actually going to get to this ball, and oops, Carrion's like planned it for Yukis. And Polar's lost in midfield. He did not know where exactly that ball was going to go, and it forced everybody back on RIX. Polar will try to move downfield again. He had such a great start, in particular, James. He had that wide-angle shot on the corner, and then a couple of shovels out to Dead Monster. Since then, Polar hasn't had nearly the success, and he would hope to find some more of that again in game 2 if there's hope for RIX GG, but instead he's defending another shot. Carrion will try again for Solary.
Yeah, Polar, he started out very well, Joe. You saw he was starting out hot, and then we saw some missed shot opportunities. So it looked like, even though he had a very good start, things not continuing to go well for Polar. See if RIX GG can find a way back, but Solary's starting to find their pace. You can see it.
Exotic just winning that next touch against Polar, who didn't have the speed to get there in time, ran out of boost. And everybody on RIX is forced onto the back wall. Dead Monster the next up to try to find the clear. Try to force that 50 against Exotic, and that's a big win for apparently Jack. It gave a little bit of space, and then great pick from Polar in midfield. Cuts off the pass, rewarded with a goal.
And this one, important.
Great.
That's the tying goal. It wasn't anything incredibly special, just a 50, just a challenge. We saw that go the way of Solary at the in the later parts of game 1. So if your challenges are going well, maybe that's what'll get you back into it. Worked well for Solary. We'll see if it works well for RIX GG.
Now, it's been a struggle to find those close rebounds that helped RIX be so successful in the first half of game 1. But now they're just hopping these routes in midfield. They know that Solary want to play it slow and try for these short passes. And they're picking them off in midfield and starting chances like that. But Dead Monster, had he been just a couple centimeters lower, you're talking about a lead.
Oh, that was such a close call. And you could even see Polar had so much space, decided to hit it backwards. I don't know if that was the best call, gives up possession. And now, dodging a demo, Polar and the rest of RIX GG, they are under attack right now as Solary taking shot after shot.
Oh, Polar again. Sees the pass developing in midfield, just goes to cut it off. Doesn't try to force the challenge against first man or even the second man. Tried to read it, Carrion couldn't find the goal. And as close as some of these chances has looked, and maybe they get another one, no, Carrion can't win that 50. This has been a battle in midfield for possession. No one really getting that one challenge that starts to put the press on the other team, but a demo might, as Yukis tried to clear a lane. Now he's gonna take a shot, bounce off the crossbar, no good.
Yukis just off on that one. Inches away. That one was so close. Scoring chance. And we've seen a couple of them now for Solary where they narrowly missed. And like you said, Jarby, it's been a battle in the midfield. Both teams having counterattack opportunities. Now that shot's gonna go high and wide.
Cut by Dead Monster, he got bumped out of the way, so no carry for him. Instead, Yukis is really starting to heat up on some of these air dribbles. And even a couple of demos we've seen him have to try to create more holes on the blue half. But apparently Jack will get behind this next ball for RIX. Can they find their way in front of the box? Apparently Jack blows open a hole, but Dead Monster is forced into a retreat. Carrion has no clue. Dead Monster had no clue, but he still picks up the save off Yukis' shot.
And that's the second time we've seen this out of Solary, where they have that lead attacker who all the defenders are looking at, and then you have that second shooter coming in and taking this shot while everyone's looking at that first player. It's almost worked out a couple of times now. See if they keep doing it.
That was keeping RIX guessing on the corner, and now they're a little tied up in midfield, but Dead Monster will take the ball away. Now the rest of Solary. Carrion's next up for Dead Monster's air dribble, and he makes it difficult for him to get back to his touch. Everyone waiting in this corner on Solary. It bounces right back for Yukis. And Carrion almost snuck it in the top. Apparently Jack up quickly, but it might not be enough. Exotic turns, and it's knocked out to the corner again. Managing defense, but managing is about it. RIX get out again.
Solary, they're getting so close. That one, Exotic banged off the crossbar. It was the right idea. It looked like the defender did have it. See if RIX GG can hold on these final 10 seconds.
It was well done by Dead Monster to keep that initial touch close in the air and at least prevent quick shots from happening. This could still be dangerous. Exotic has a little bit of boost. He uses it to put it nowhere. I thought for sure he had it lined up. No goal.
That double tap, it's always risky when you keep that ball alive. That double tap almost giving RIX GG a nightmare.
Carrying that patience on the back wall, and then Exotic the demo to give him a way out. That was such a precarious situation for Solary, but they handled it and executed it perfectly. Now apparently Jack has to work for space. Yukis takes the ball away from him, and now a quick attack may be coming for RIX GG's net. Exotic lets it drop. Carrion is the whole way back, and now apparently Jack has possession. He's got a man to his right. Delayed flick, but Carrion has been tough to get by. Here's another shot off the crossbar. Apparently Jack waiting, denied. Oh, that might not be the touch that Solary want, but Exotic had enough to get back to it. Very dangerous situation for Solary, and dumping in front again. Carrion, but it was a double commit, so no quick clear is coming for Solary. Polar might have space off the demo from Dead Monster, and Yukis gets back to his touch in the corner, but apparently Jack, his challenge will force Dead Monster back. Solary survives.
That was a battering attack, and now on the other end, kicks out to Exotic. He'll let this bounce back, but we saw apparently Jack in that situation. Who was that Dead Monster that he had on his right? He could have gone for the pass, decided to take it slow, go for the flick. I don't know if that's the right situation on that play. And it was well defended.
Oh, Dead Monster, that's a massive win, and he absolutely stole the ball away. Thievery success for RIX GG.
Oh, you saw Dead Monster. He was delaying the challenge, and that faked out the defender. The defender flying right by him. Well done by Dead Monster. You felt like RIX GG maybe even deserved it on that one play. Coming so close, their attack was threatening, and they answer back to Solary.
That was definitely a, well, game one, all of those goals, that was a wash. None of us were ready to play defense yet. And then all of a sudden, defense was very fun to watch on both ends. And I mean, you said it, James, there was that one opportunity between apparently Jack and Dead Monster. I did think he was going to go for a hard pass out to the side. He had the space, and the defender was playing the carry from apparently Jack. So they definitely would have at least caught one man out on that sort of play. But it didn't matter. They didn't need it. You just hope that they can score more of those opportunities if you're a RIX GG fan.
Yeah, I think there were missed opportunities on both ends. We saw a few crossbar hits from Solary coming so close, but really only one goal that game. It was 9 seconds in. That was their only goal. But they had those threatening offensive attacks. But RIX GG also the same for them. Even in that overtime, you thought they might have scored a little bit earlier. So this is shaping up to be a neck-and-neck series. We'll see how game 3 goes. If Solary, I mean, when Solary was playing well, it seemed like they had the edge. But we'll see if RIX GG can find something deep.
Something tells me that Exotic is just one solid touch away from really popping off. I thought game 2 was kind of his awakening game in this match, where he had that attempt to double and had a pass out off the 50 that Polar saved right here, but then also his demos to create space or prevent shots. Exotic has been doing a lot of dirty work for his team, but you know he's just as capable of scoring. He's given an easy one from his teammate. That was Yukis on the challenge in front.
And he was doing so much of the dirty work, like you were saying, Jorby, even there on zero boost, goes for the pinch pass off the wall instead of letting it bounce back. Instead of rotating out, he goes for it. And that was a critical moment, allowing his teammate to get that ball back out into the middle. So this is perhaps the breakout game from Exotic, like you were thinking.
It could be. Yukis gonna have to retreat, and the rest of Solary hoping Exotic can get up to that ball, which he does. forced to wait for that high ball. No one really ready to go for it, but Dead Monster couldn't get the touch he wanted either. So Solary not feeling too much pressure, though. You don't want to let this continue. Carrion does a great job carrying the ball out, but he's on limited boost here. And the rest of Solary are also starting to feel the emptiness that comes from a zero boost tank. But they collect some, Carrion wins, and he flips off the ball, which actually gave Exotic just the amount of space necessary to force more pressure. But no real threat yet.
Yukis landed right back onto that ball. This could be a chance for Exotic. Might have to go for the pass. We've seen some good looks from Solary. These challenges have been crazy at times. Yukis seemed to drop out of the sky for that one.
Carrion just, I don't know how he just stops the ball on every challenge. Like, yes, I know exactly when to flip. He times it perfectly to just kill the ball and retain possession. I feel like that's one thing that's been, or that's the massive thing that's been really frustrating for RIX GG to deal with. And maybe they get a goal here to commit on Solary on this next play, but it's kind of a very crowded assault, and the rest of RIX are forced back. No real clear lane for a teammate. Dead Monster gets under, flip reset, but he couldn't make contact. The challenge knocks it away. That's not a good touch from apparently Jack. He mishandled the ball, and now they're threatening to score. Solary, here's another shot. Good for Carrion off the crossbar.
And Dead Monster, he came up close on that flip reset play, but you notice he's nowhere close to being back. You need a third man in that situation. Dead Monster went all in on that flip reset play and was way far out of the play, and Polar, all of the pressure fell on him to make a stop and couldn't do much to stop that attack. So you got to be careful when you're going for those flip reset shots, using up all your boost. It can really put your team in a tight spot. That's exactly what we saw happen in that situation.
That could have very well been a 3-0. Exotic shot that just banged off the crossbar just a couple seconds ago. And Carrion not wanting to force it too hard, not wanting a hard rebound or anything. He tried to play it slow, and apparently Jack just blows through the net. What a double.
You see the demo throws things into panic. Carrion and Yukis both go for it. They both miss, and Jack says, okay, yeah, I'll tap this in, no problem.
Established 2020, he's here to play RLCS. Apparently Jack, every time he gets onto a stream, he looks better and better. Definitely one of those individual players to watch. I think all three of the players on RIX GG are. For one reason or another, but maybe not for that reason.
Oh, Polar had backflip there. He backflips again. Back-to-back backflips for Polar. Wonder if he's got a loose joystick, perhaps.
Oh, the magnetic stick fell off his control. I hate when that happens, man. I have to like dive down. It's like, someone cover for me quick. I can't see. So you're just trying to stick it on as fast as possible.
Those fancy controllers. Just got one of the normal ones.
Yeah, I don't like normal. Polar flip reset, and it's gonna be blocked. Not enough power. He tried to sneak it in far side. Just not as successful on the carries for RIX GG. Or Dead Monster, he's been pretty much the lead on that. On carrying the ball, winning awkward 50s, but still retaining possession. This time he's losing the ball in where you want him to, or in that last stage where you need him to keep it and then get the pass out. He's not being as successful, so Solary have done a good job shutting that down for now, but you gotta keep your eyes on it 100% of the time, because you lose your focus for a second on that. Next thing you know, Dead Monster is a solid pass out.
That's how good players are nowadays. Jorby, you leave that net undefended for a split second, you give them a counter-attacking lane. It can happen so fast.
And even in the last match where you saw where mix-ups played such a critical role in keeping, or an endpoint keeping Guild on their toes at all times, you never want to give the same look every single time. We say it a lot.
Oh, what a touch from Polar! A little double bounce play of basketball. I like the dribble.
You know, it's the best way to confuse the defense is, confuse your own offense. We saw Dead Monster going for that. No one expected Polar to get that second touch, except for apparently Jack, who was waiting for the rebound opportunity, and it came, and 12 seconds left. They managed to tie it up.
Well, it's 2-2, and 7-8 on the shot totals, and Yukis
Oh, it's open!
Wait,
But
apparently
definitely-
Jack,
oh!
no! Exotic will throw it away, coming on to the blindside challenge. Well, that was a sliver of just chaos that happened. Overtime, though, James. Hang on a second. Okay, all right. He picked up the save. We're good.
And that's got to be heartbreaking for Solary because the ball had bounced off the backboard. Double tap attempt from Exotic. He's denied. But there was a backward bounce and the read didn't come through. The net was wide open for him. And then Jack almost got that dribble in the last second. We'll see how they do. Polar, the bump. If he bumps Carrion out of the play, that would have been a goal.
That's the real tilt factor for demos, is when they let those kind of goals in. But it doesn't, or it does matter, is this is a game to put you on match point. That's a shot from Dead Monster taken away yet again by Exotic. The defense been okay for Solary. They put a shot on, and Dead Monster will pop it up again. So no more than one shot for either team in this overtime so far on each possession. About a minute in, Polar's going to give Dead Monster a look and just wants to take another quick shot. The ball's given back, but the rest of RIX have to retreat. Exotic found the exact read he was looking for. Oh, and the crossbar, and Yukis finding headway in their relationship. Maybe not in Yukis's, maybe not the way Yukis wants.
It's on a double commit. This could be bad. Polar winding up for the shot and didn't get much on it. That was a golden opportunity, perhaps running out of boost.
Again, I'm still looking at Exotic, James. He had that attempted double where he just missed off the post. He's been pretty dangerous behind the ball every time he gets there. Even if he's not taking the shot, he's good at creating space, winning 50s all around. So you definitely keep your eyes on him in this overtime. He could be the difference maker in game 3.
He called to make a defensive play here. Went right to Polar. But Polar, again, not the greatest touch. Gonna give up possession.
There hasn't been great touches at all for RIX, and now they're gonna have to defend that.
Oh.
But Yukis and the crossbar get another notch on their relationship. And Yukis is hoping he starts to get some W's in this, because he's tired of hitting that crossbar, just being unable to find those reads. Exotic goes for the net, and he hits paint! Exotic collects in overtime, and one more win will send Solary onwards.
A huge challenge, and then the angle he's working with is minuscule, but doesn't matter. Exotic hitting the only angle he had, and Solary will squeak away with a win there. They had so many opportunities, Jorby, where they were hitting the crossbar, getting close, but not close enough. And look at the amount of shots on both sides. This was so many opportunities for RIX GG and Solary where they were just not making the most of their scoring opportunities. This one easily could have gone either way, and Solary, thanking their lucky stars, they got the win.
Exotic collecting 859 points, 4 saves, 2 goals, and an assist to his name. Not even talking about the biggest goal that he hit, but the dude has been such a force on the pitch, and RIX GG, it's been really difficult for them to handle him and the whole team, honestly. You talked about Polar and his poor touches, James, but I also felt like Dead Monster and apparently Jack were struggling to carry the ball. They consistently wanted to go for carrying it, but they'd always lose it. Solary picked them apart on their attempts to slow down the game. They would not let it happen, and they picked their battles excellently.
They really did. They shut down those dribbling attempts, like you were saying, the attempts to slow it down. But this one still, it just came down to who made the most of their many opportunities. It wasn't brilliant by either side, really. But Solary continues to have that little bit of extra edge.
And I mean, who do you look at if you're on RIX GG to try to get back into this and force game 5? Polar started off with a great shot from a wide angle, and then Dead Monster collected on a flurry of offense in the opening minute of this match. But since then, our success has been far and few between. Solary putting every ball in the back, or not every ball, but just enough pressure to put balls in the back of RIX's net. I don't know who exactly has to step up, but as a team, they certainly need to be performing better. And Polar, Dead Monster know it. They collect here off the pass.
Well, this has been such a close series. Jarby, you know, it could be anyone that steps up. We've had 3 overtimes back-to-back. Dead Monster putting in this first goal. But if history has anything to teach us, it's very likely that this one could be going to overtime too, and you'll wonder who will be that player to step up and score. And we talked about Polar when, you know, Polar started out very well, like you were saying, because of his shooting accuracy, and that has been plaguing really both Solary and RIX GG, not being able to hit those open nets or those tight angles that a lot of times you see players hit at this level.
Oh, Dead Monster. Yeah, that initial carry. This time it's all about the follow-up for RIX. Yeah, first man can win that first challenge, but your follow-up has to be just as good as your first challenge. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with low boost, flipping in front, hoping for just a favorable bounce to go your way. RIX have certainly been put to task. In the last 40 seconds or so, everybody pulls back on Solary, and they have the space to just boom it back downfield. Well, this time, midfield can be RIX's. Dead Monster almost snuck that through. Carrion tried to get in front of that, and that was almost deadly because Yukis very easily could have hit that right into his teammate. But no sweat if you're Solary. Well, now maybe you're sweating if you're RIX. Dead Monster maintains his composure, but the defense has been very divey, James. They haven't been able to hold on to their boost for very long. Another save for Dead Monster.
And that was a big save from Dead Monster. Yeah, apparently Jack had missed the challenge. He just completely whiffed. And that really shook things up for the RIX GG defense. They're still not out of it just yet. Some good pressure coming out from Solary.
Another catch in a lot of space. Apparently Jack forced to wait despite having so much boost. Can't go too early, can't go too late. The timing's got to be just right on defense. And managing as well as they have, Dead Monster back over to apparently Jack. When we talk about how much they've struggled to get the clear, they still retain the 1-goal lead here.
And that might be enough. The defense holding strong, but we have seen some shakiness come out.
Dead Monster has been last in net a couple of times as these shots have come. He's made every save so far, but all it takes is a little too much power. Oh, the passing play denied a chance for a multi-goal lead. Now Exotic has a pass to Carrion, but Dead Monster had it read. Again, Dead Monster stepping up big time on defense, even in front, not necessarily just in the net.
Dead Monster's mechanics on point. Can do a lot even with a little. Had nothing in the tank, was still able to make that defensive stop.
Another solid clear into space, but then getting bumped was apparently Jack, so he's going to be late to that challenge. In fact, Yukis is just going to take it past him. Very speedy in front. What a pass! He just above the crossbar. Now a breakaway. And Polar was looking for something. He didn't want that ball to go right back into Solary's cars, but it did. They still can't let a ball in. Dead Monster hops in front of that. It just feels like they're teetering on the edge, and still they're keeping that ball out. That's a great cut by Polar to get the ball downfield again.
And they were very fortunate. Oh, that skip.
Wow.
We'll send it deep, but they're very lucky that I believe it was Exotic that took the shot. Hit his shot high yet again.
Apparently Jack just got under that ball. Maybe have to go to a different tool in the arsenal to find the back of the net. You're at the end of regulation, so it starts now. Exotic, quick pass in front to Carrion, but it's denied again. The challenges in midfield have been oppressive from RIX GG, and we indeed go to Game 5.
And that 1 goal proved to be enough. And this was another example of Solary not finishing these fantastic opportunities that they get. It was such a good infield pass, and I believe it was Exotic that took the shot and just shot it high again. So the accuracy is continuing to plague them, and RIX GG doing just enough to secure the win.
Dead Monster, it wasn't just, the fact that he saved the ball in net. It was where he put it every time he did make a save, where if, Solary were shading left, Dead Monster's putting it right. And if Solary wants to really commit, you're going to have to use a lot more boost than you were expecting to keep the offense going. Solary don't want to overcommit, and they just weren't able to find that pick against Dead Monster. He just kept playing opposite to them every single time. So very good vision on defense from Dead Monster. I felt he was the key piece in keeping that lead alive.
Yeah, some big defensive stops on low boost and tough situations, making it happen and getting that only goal of the game. So we'll see how Game 5 plays out here on Champions Field. One team is going to secure their spot in the next stage.
No one really taking complete control of this match at any point. It has definitely been a tug of war. No one pushing or pulling the other across the line or even getting close to that line. But we're coming to the end. Dead Monster, it's going to be a high touch for him to Polar. Oh, he wanted to tee it straight down. Love plays like that. Apparently Jack lets that bounce down, or touches it down. Polar back over to Dead Monster. Fine to take that really low risk there, as apparently Jack was already rotating back. And now the entire defense from Solary is non-existent. Dead Monster gets a freebie off of a great carry from Jack.
Yeah, Jack, that extra touch, again, it's the power of air roll, and Dead Monster cheats on that one. You know, what more evidence do you need to start adding that to your game if you're a casual player? These pros so good at it, showing you how effective it can be, getting that extra power, that extra speed through the ball. And almost an answer right off kickoff from Solary.
I was gonna say, it's really, you've talked about it a couple of times in this match already, James, and it's something that's taken really the game by storm, as a couple of pros started using it, other pros saw the benefit, and all of them think, okay, I either need to do air roll right or air roll left for all the reasons that you say, and we see more and more people, pro or casual, to go to that. And it just gives you so much more finesse mechanically. Finesse is something apparently Jack was having none of. That was all raw power.
I mean, you don't need air roll to get passing plays like that. And you Gizzle sneak this one by. Oh, this is disastrous for RIX GG.
Oh, apparently Jack.
Oh, it hit off the... It was an own goal too.
Oh. I mean, how many times do you expect the challenge to just roll off the first man's car? Like, yeah, Polar's going to flip into that. It'll just shoot up off the ceiling. And apparently Jack, had that actually happened, he was going to be in the perfect spot for it. But now, Exotic says, thanks for the carry. Thanks for the goal. See you later.
He wins the race to the midfield boost, and that proved to be enough. Quickly going for the shot. You can see Polar and Jack both getting bunched up like in a traffic jam, bumper to bumper. And that did them no wonders.
Now maybe bumps or maybe bumps or demos, maybe the physical game can help them out. We haven't really seen a ton of it. We've seen a couple of demos. Polar specifically has typically been the aggressor in that respect, but Dead Monster speedily up to this, and the Polar Dead Monster connection is reborn.
After a 1-0 game, this one has been much more exciting. We're not even 2 minutes in, 4 goals total, tied up at 2-2. RIX GG, and it was important that they recover again after coming so close on the demo, the passing play. That was such a good play to come away empty-handed. And for them to then concede a goal, it could have been a moment where they just give up. They're defeated, but I love to see them battling right back and tying it up.
Solary hasn't looked nearly as threatening without Carrion winning those awkward challenges that we saw him really perform well on in the first 2 games of this match, James. He's been quiet in the last game and now so far in the first half of Game 5. While he was popping off, that's where Solary felt like they could do no wrong on offense for the most part. And talk what you want about Exotic missing that shot in Game 4, but Carrion consistently quiet is certainly not going to help out Solary. Credit where credit is due to RIX GG.
And we know that he's got it in him, that flip reset goal.
Oh my goodness.
Jack!
What happened?
He sails over him, Carrion. He gets locked up on defense. He tries to reverse. Yukis, I think, left it because he was thinking Carrion was going to get the touch, and it didn't work out.
That feels so bad if you're Carrion, and looking at his cam, he was expecting that bounce off the ceiling, but it came with so much power, and it came a little bit farther back than I think even he was anticipating, because he was trying to recorrect even before it bounced off the ceiling, and just couldn't really get a solid read on it at all. He'll move the ball downfield here, but not where Solary wants to be with 2 minutes remaining.
And that is a great play from Jack to buy so much time. We saw the passing from Solary at the midfield. They were vying for position. Now Exotic in a race, but apparently Jack taking his time in the corner. He hits it to the left, gets it around a defender at midfield, and now that one off the crossbar. Rebound is denied. But Jack finishing out strong.
Oh, apparently Jack came around to get the ball back to Polar. He got bumped as the third man. Apparently Jack couldn't find the ball! Exotic finds net! Solary coming back again, tie game.
And that one wasn't handled well. The ball pops up. Jack gets the ball bounced right underneath him, and the bounce shot is so effective. It's hard to hit that rising ball off the bounce. Exotic was able to bounce it under the defender and get so much power that it gets all the way up near the crossbar. A huge play from Exotic.
It started off so well for apparently Jack there too. He made up for Polar getting bumped, took away the shot option, but then it was just too hard of a bounce to Polar. It popped straight out in front of him, and then they couldn't really respond to it after that. Apparently Jack was diving for it, as you were so eloquent in describing, James, and now Polar. He's finding more success in that corner in shoveling the ball out. Whether or not his new teammate, they're like bumpers in a pinball game.
Dead monster. He was just going from one player to another, bumping him right in the face.
Ooh. A very divey challenge from Dead Monster. And that can really catch Solary off guard. He saw all three players in midfield and thought, if I can just jet this over the player, then we can get a breakaway opportunity. But even here, it's kind of precarious for RIX GG. Dead Monster will hop it over one, but Yukis will give a favorable ball to Exotic. Now, how can RIX GG get out of this as time is running out in regulation? We've had 3 overtimes so far, and this may be the 4th. As time is winding down. Hang time on the ball. Dead Monster plays 2 rebounds. Now Kyrian gets a look, but apparently Jack closes the gap, and that is it. Game 5 OT.
And that's what you want to see. This one has had multiple overtimes. Why not end it in overtime?
Now, anything can certainly happen. We've seen misses on both sides of the field. One quick passing play, one bump of a player is going to be the difference. Dead Monster, good first challenge, good second challenge. Dead Monster works his way to the opposite side of Solary territory, collects the boost as well. This will be the first in a line of challenges for RIX GG to try to find the net, but Solary are going to be a tough cookie to crack on defense. Following it close was Carrion. They get out on that touch. Apparently, Jack, that is an own goal disaster! Yukis collects, but apparently Jack gives up the series. Unbelievable!
And Dead Monster was racing for it. That was the worst possible touch in that situation. That is heartbreaking for RIX GG, who fought so valiantly. But in the end, they fall to Solary. And this was a series, you know, no matter who won, the team that lost was going to look back and think about all the opportunities that they let it get away from them. But Solary, we saw it over and over again, Jorby, in these really, really tight margin games. They just seem to have that extra edge.
They do. And again, Carrion, he stepped up in the second half of Game 5. He didn't wow you with any crazy flip reset opportunities or some double tap attempts or what have you, but he was certainly a nuisance to RIX GG in the physical department, in making plays difficult for them to complete. All around, I mean, this was just, I was still impressed by how RIX GG started this match, James, and then even how they ended it. Yes, apparently Jack, it was an unfortunate mistouch, but for the majority of this set, I did feel like RIX GG probably performed better than some might have given them credit for in this match. I don't think it's nearly the last we've seen of them. I said that before, and I definitely will say it again, but GG's to Solary on making it through.
Absolutely.
So-
I think they made a statement here, Jorby, even though they fell short. I think people will be starting to pay closer attention to RIX GG.
And that is it for Solary for the day. We got some more matches coming up, 2 more to close out the day on the A stream. Check out twitch.tv/eLeagueTV for the rest of the matches streamed. We'll be back on this channel after the break.